Alright, so again, once we've actually plugged in the graph and graphed this, adjusted the window, we can attack part A. So part A was worth 1 point, and if you've gotten part A, the answer is on the board. And again, please ask me questions if you're not sure. Right? So if you think about it, like this equation gives me the distance between the planets. And if I want the distance, and if I right, so when it's the minimum, then they'll be the closest together. When the distance is the smallest, the distance between them, they'll be the closest. So on this problem, we accepted either on the 530th day or the 529th day. Either one would be accepted, and this was a 1 point question, and we were like literally just looking for this. This is a question from 2 years ago coming. All right, on part B, can move to that now. There are no questions on A. So this was a 2-point question. 1 point for getting both endpoints and 1 point for knowing to put brackets, not parentheses. Let me stop here and see if there are questions on this. Again, this will probably be very similar to the first question on the common assessment this year. Yesenia? Yep. So I graphed y equals 100 as a line, and the reason I did that is because I wanted to find all the all the x values where the distance is within 100 million miles. So that means it could have been 100 million, could have been 90 million, it could have even been 10 million miles. That would have been fine, as long as it was below 100 million. So here we are, and I want to find all of these times. So I said, what is this time and what is this time? So I used the intersect tool to find these two intersection points on my calculator. On part C, I'll model on both calculators because the process is a little bit different depending on which calculator you have. So modeling first on the 8384. You do not. So we're looking for, this is a 2-point question, 1 point for getting the answer to this with the unit, and the second point for the sentence. Please make sure your answer is accurate to 3 decimals. So this is how you would do it on the 8384. Let me model it on the Inspire. It's, I think, slightly easier and a little bit different methodology. So I'm going to go get a graph. I'm going to graph this function. Okay, so I've clearly got the correct graph in. Here's the unique part for the Inspire. You're going to add a new page, add a calculator. And here's the key. You go to var right here. You want to go to var. And then you want to go to F1. And what do you want? You want F of 500 minus F of 200. So that says, tell me the y value when x is 500 minus the y value when x is 200. And then divide that by what was on the bottom. The bottom was 500 minus 200. So divide by 300. And there is the answer. Exactly the same as what we got before, negative 0.575, negative 0.575. Much easier methodology here on the Inspire. And then, of course, don't forget the sentence, because it says interpret. Right. So let me take some questions on A through C, and then we'll proceed to D. Abraham?
For D on the Inspire, I tried doing the intersect so that I could find the values that I can't figure out now.
Okay. Josue, do you want to try to troubleshoot? And if not, I will definitely come over after I finish D. Absolutely. We'll troubleshoot through this problem. What else? Okay, now D is interesting. D is very interesting. So on D they say rewrite the function using sine, not cosine. So we've got okay. So here's what we've got, and we need to rewrite an equation that looks something like this. So let's identify what we already know. So A represents the amplitude. What's the amplitude? 93 or 141? In 93, the amplitude is what is multiplied by the trig function. What is the B? Yeah, and please do not say that B is the period. 2 pi over B is the period. B, does anybody remember the word for B? It's a physics term. Beta is a Greek letter. It is frequency. Frequency. Yeah. X minus something. We don't know what the something is, plus the midline, and the midline is 141. It could be plus or minus, depending on which way you shift. So, if you think now about the sine graph, here's the sine graph. The sine graph starts at the midline and goes up. So when I look at my graph, I need to start at the midline and go up for sine. So let me clear out this 100, and instead of putting 100, let me put 141, because that is the midline. So now, this point right here should have been over here. if there was no shift. But somehow the point moved from way back here to over here. In other words, this midline, here's the midline, we want the midline going up, so this point right here used to be here, it just moved over. The question is, how much did it move, and what in the equation made it move this way? Well, if it moved right, there must have been minus something, because you do the opposite of what it says. The question is, how much did it move? Well, let's find out. Second calc intersect. First curve. Second curve. 725. So minus 725. So this was a 2-point question. 1 point for getting this, this, and this, and the second point for getting the 725. Yep. So I said, I knew that because this was a sine graph, right, this point right here where the midline and the graph intersect should have been way back here on the axis for regular sine. Sine is supposed to start at the midline. But something in the equation made that point that used to be here, something made it go over here. The question is, what made it go here? Well, this minus 725 shifted right, because you do the opposite of what it says, and how much did it shift right by? 725. And the way I got this is find the intersection of the graph and the midline. More questions on this? Okay. So let me now go to the multiple choice, and I want to read off the answers for numbers 1 through 15. Right? And even those who didn't get a chance to do it, that's fine. Let's just go ahead and write the answers down. So when you do go do them, you will be in good shape to check your work. So we're on this right here, going through the answers. So number 1 is B. Number 2 is E. Number 3 is A. 4 is A. 5 is D. 6 is D. Yeah. Number 2 is E. Number 3 is A. 4 is A. 5 is D. 6 D. 7 B. 8 B. 9 also B. 10 D. 11 is B. 12 is A. 13 is C. 14 is also C. And 15 is B. Do I need to repeat any answers? Okay, so now let's kind of walk through what we're going to do here. So, if you're feeling confident on all 1 through 15, then your homework for tomorrow is question 2 here and 16 through 25 on here. So again, the homework for tomorrow, question 2 here